Hey, what is going on? This is your stimulus check updated information. So the deadline is coming up, December 31st. That is when the states have to send out their stimulus checks to the people in that state, or they have to send that money back to the federal government. And if we know anything about state governments, they're not going to want to send that money back to the federal government. So they got to figure out how to set up and get more stimulus out to everybody. Right now, there's about 11 states that are actually sending stimulus checks, but there's still another, 30, 40 states that need to figure out what kind of plan they're going to be sending out more checks to. There's a lot of things that are coming up here pretty soon. You got the unemployment. It's going to be stopping here over the next couple of days. I think Congress is going to rally to try to push that out to December, but they have to pass a bill in order to get that done. To get the fourth stimulus check, this is going to be a big month. This is when Congress is going to come back and get this budget plan, hopefully get that set up and to get that going. In this $3.5 trillion budget plan, it looks like there's a lot of support for it, but there are a couple Democrats that aren't really on board with this. Inside of the $3.5 trillion stimulus plan could be the possibility of the American Families Plan, where that will be maybe a fourth stimulus check. The American Families Plan will also have the extension of the child tax credit that's going out now. There are monthly payments going out to everybody right now. Those that do have children are able to get that. And the Treasury is actually sending out bonus payments, plus up payments to those that are getting their returns in, because there is still another $25 billion in stimulus that has to be sent out to people that qualify for it. So if you haven't done that already, I think you have till October 15th to get your filings in order to take advantage of this latest round of stimulus checks of this $1,400 that has been going out. So the states that are stepping up and doing this, you have Texas. A lot of the cities in Texas are going to be sending out stimulus to people in that area. One of the big ones is Irvine, $2,000 payments to try to get teachers back to work. Tennessee is going to be another state, $1,000 for teachers and educators. To me, I don't understand why they're targeting just teachers and all that. I still can't figure that one out yet. But I get it. Teachers they were hurt by it, but there were so many other people that they couldn't go to work. They couldn't go to these businesses. These businesses were forced to shut down. So it seems like they should really get a lifeline set out for them. New York, $2.1 billion for undocumented workers. Michigan, you have $500 hazard pay went out to teachers. Georgia, stimulus, $1,000 for teachers and administrators in that area. Florida stimulus checks, $1,000 payments going out to teachers, plus going out to the frontline workers, police, firemen, and educators also in the state of Florida. So Florida's actually doing a lot more than some of the other states are doing. New Mexico, kind of lame in New Mexico, $5 million out of $1.8 billion that they got. So I don't know who figured out that number, but that is not a whole lot of money to be sending out to people in that area. But the $720 checks are going out to about 4,000 people in New Mexico. Now, most of these checks, you probably won't even know that they'll be there unless they show up in your mailbox, or if you get a deposit into your bank that you didn't know that it was coming from. That's what these states will be doing. Maryland is sending out $500 for families and $300 for individuals. That was earned income tax credit. Colorado, $375 is going out to everybody in that state of Colorado. Now, one of the things that's happening in California right now, you have a governor they're trying to recall him. Basically, we're trying to kick him out is what they're trying to do. And we'll have to see if that's going to come up in the next couple of weeks. If they get that out, they do have enough signatures for that. The people spoke and they said, hey, let's try to do a recall vote in California. They're not really happy with that guy out there. And for me, I think personally for him shutting down all businesses for over a year is, it's really going to hurt the state from that. It's going to take a lot for that to recover. But they are sending out stimulus checks. So they might not have a new governor, but you will have a stimulus in that state. $600 for people in that state, and then $500 for dependents. That's the Golden State stimulus. Anybody that makes less than $75,000 will be getting that check. You do have to live in California, and you do have to file your returns with I think it's the Franchise Tax Board in that state. So you definitely want to step up and do that in that California. Now, one of the things about California that's different is that normally with the federal government, you have to have a social security number and you have to have a tax, all that. California, it's going to be, you're able to get a check if you have an ITIN number, which is undocumented workers, people that aren't really, in this country legally. So ITIN numbers are available to people, or anybody that has ITIN number will get a stimulus check in the state of California. So this new $3.5 trillion the budget plan is going to be what the Democrats are going to try to push. But there is one of these lone Democrats that Joe Manchin, who says he would rather put this $3.5 trillion budget plan on pause. It's important because he's one of the deciding votes in the Senate. The Senate right now only has a very small majority lead by one vote, really what it is. There's a 50-50 split in the Senate between Republicans and Democrats. Now, a lot of the Republicans jumped on board the $1.2 trillion infrastructure plan to spend money out into infrastructure, building bridges and roads and all that. But they're not really on board with this $3.5 trillion budget plan. Now, it'll get passed. They always do this every year. They come together and the Republicans say they don't want to do it, and they have to raise the debt ceiling in order to get this thing passed. It'll get passed. It's just a matter of them. They got to, put on the show, going back and forth. I think inside of this $3.5 trillion package should be some type of universal basic income. And that's what some of the Democrat senators are actually working on right now. So Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, she is a Democrat from Minnesota. So Democratic lawmakers recently proposed legislation that would hand over recurring checks or guaranteed income with monthly payments of up to $1,200 for adults and $600 for children. However, there are no timeline given on if and when the legislation will be considered or how long it would take to implement the new programs if the bills were approved. So this is something that Democrat lawmakers are trying to put together. She's put together this called Support Act, and the Support Act is going to give everybody that qualifies for this $1,200 and $600 for children. This would be a good stimulus check. This would be some type of guaranteed income. I think that if they're just going to print this $5 trillion, why not just send out payments to everybody? I mean, it's going to crush the dollars. The purchasing power of the dollars is absolutely going to just get hammered. But why not? If they're going to, $5 trillion, why not just send out checks to everybody? I mean, the people that are going to get hurt the most are really the people that aren't invested, that don't know how to invest their money, the people that are living paycheck to paycheck, that are trying to struggle to try and do that. Those people are going to get hurt because when they go spend that money into the grocery store, that's where they get taxed and that's where they get hit the most. So, I mean, they'll get one of these passed. It'll just a matter of time when they do get it passed or when they'll be able to get it passed through Congress. Congress right now is the only organization that has the ability to create these bills, and then the president signs it. Now, I think in the future there will be some type of a Fed Now coin, which is going to be the Federal Reserve stable coin. If they can do this, and they're talking about this, is dropping an app in your phone, then they can just drop that money right into your app and you go out there and spend it. But they might come with some type of time limits on this. So it might be where they give you $1,200 for the month, and then you have to go spend that within 30 days. If you don't, then that money's gone. That would be some type of velocity increase of money into the economy. It's going to be a failed thing in long term. So right now, the best thing for you to do really is to take your money and invest it into dividend stocks. Try to get it into the stock market right now because it's growing. Try to get it into some cryptos if you can. Again, this is not financial advice, but I'm just saying if you can, try to do that. It's going to hedge your investment. It's going to hedge your money that you have against the inflation, because the inflation right now is just absolutely going insane. It's going to continue to go up. Prices of everything. Prices at the grocery store are all going to continue to go up because the way the purchasing power of the dollar is going to be continually declining. And these politicians in Washington don't understand about inflation is created when you create these giant $3.5 trillion budget plans and you put them out into the economy and you try to get those passed. A lot of the stocks you want to jump into, there's a lot of good dividend stocks. One of the new ones right now that I just saw was John Deere. It was a good stock. This is not financial advice. Again, you do what you want, but if you go to something like E-Trade and you invest in like say John Deere, they're going to give you a quarterly dividend of 17%. I think it's 17% now. It's $1.55 per share. But they're going to give you back money, pay you money on the stocks that you have. And I know that I think Warren Buffett makes millions of dollars just on dividends alone each year because of all the stocks that he's purchased. He likes to buy those stocks that do give back to the people that are shareholders of that company. And so John Deere is one of those examples. You know, jumping into cryptocurrencies right now, those are a lot of good places to store your money. I always tell people just get out of the US dollar right now. That's probably the worst thing you could be in right now is the US dollar, because the purchasing power of the dollars are declining. It's going to continue to decline over and over and over again. So if you can do that, try to set that up. If you want to just get a partial stocks and you don't want to worry about dividends, if you want to jump into like Amazon stocks, or if you want to jump into Tesla stocks, go to places like Robinhood or Webull. These are going to be the best places to pick up these stocks on a partial basis. Because sometimes like Amazon stocks it's like close to $4,000 for one stock. And a lot of people don't have $4,000 to drop, but you can go to Robinhood and you can spend only like $100 or $50 into an Amazon stock. You're going to be buying a portion of the stock at Robinhood. It'll still increase in value your whatever you have in there, but you have it invested in there. I think it's a great place to do that. I try to get some into the cryptocurrencies. That way you control that value a lot better. Because if Robinhood ever goes down, or if any of the stock markets crash, then you're going to be stuck with that. But at least with cryptocurrencies, and you have your own private keys, you control it, and then nobody can mess with that money that you have. So if you have any questions about stimulus checks, anything like that, drop those in the comments below. This is your daily stimulus check update information for today.